Hi guys, so today I am going to be doing my November TBR and no, that's a lie. That is a damn lie. Hi guys. Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my December reading TBR and my November film and TV wrap up. So I thought last minute I'll just splice these together. I wasn't even going to do a TBR really, but I thought the video would be too short. So I'll quickly start off with the books that I hope to read in December. There is no book wrap up for November because currently I've still not finished the one and only book that I was mainly reading. So yeah, that is for Undercover Princess by Connie Glynn. So she is Nudabella on YouTube, so you'll be getting like a full review of that anyway. There's no November wrap up, but anyway, I hope to read I think it's the 10th volume of Rosario Vampire, or Rosario 2 Vampire, of the first season, because there's 2 seasons of novels out, if that makes sense. So yeah, that will hopefully round up and make me actually finish that for this year, because I've never finished it before. And I know there's a second season, but predominantly I'm focused on finishing this first season at long last, because it's been a long time coming. I've been reading it on and off since I was like 14, so yeah, never got this far before, so this is a victory in itself. But I hope to get that dusted off out of the way for the new year. I also hope to read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is the second Harry Potter book, as I'm sure a lot of you will know, for J.K. Rowling. I thought it would be better time because I want to do my first time read vlogs again. I'll link the other Harry Potter first time read vlogs somewhere, but I'll have time because my exams are before Christmas, so I should have a nice holiday time where I can vlog and leisurely read. So yeah, I don't want to do it in times where I'm stressed and doing other things, because I don't think my vlogs will be entertaining and I probably won't read it that much. So Christmas will be the perfect break to dedicate some time to that. And then the last book I hope to pick up for December is The School of the Woven Way by Nevertheless Jordan. I think I've mentioned before that I've been talking to the author, and he sent me a copy to review. So this is kind of one of those priority books that I hope to get to in December, if not hopefully January, so that I can get a review up for you guys and for him. So yeah, as that's out of the way, let's go on to the things that I watched in November. Again, not very many. I watched one film and I finished a TV series basically. So let's get on with that. The first thing I watched, which is the film I just mentioned, was Sleeping Beauty, which is the 2011 released one, and I ended up giving that a 1 out of 5 stars. Gutting, I know, I was really hoping to like this one. So this is starring Emily Browning as Lucy. I wanted to watch this for the longest time because from my understanding it was like a twisted take on the Sleeping Beauty story. I thought it was about a girl who's like in the profession of sleeping and having people pay her to sleep with her while she's sleeping, if that makes sense. And it turns out it is just that basically. The long and short of it is she's a college student, and to get some extra money on the side she goes into the profession of sex working, which is like a fetish of sleeping whilst people are in the room doing stuff with you. It's an erotic romance, and it's quite a strange concept actually. I didn't know it was going to be, I don't even know. I don't understand to explain it. I guess I was expecting the storyline and everything, but I wasn't expecting what I got. I do like that it plays on the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale, because I believe in the original, Sleeping Beauty doesn't wake up from true love's kiss. She wakes up because she's in labour and she's giving birth to like twins or something, because the prince basically had sex with her while she was sleeping. I'm pretty sure that's the original and that's out there somewhere. So yeah, whilst she was sleeping, the prince kind of like had his wicked way with her while she was in her cursed paralysis, which is terrible in itself. And I think it's strange that fairy tales are told to children and then they're kind of like tampered down, but then when you get older you realise what the real meanings are, and it's freaky that we're told these stories. It's very strange. So back to this film. The majority honestly was slow, boring, and it just felt very stilted, I think is a good word to describe it. I didn't get the thing with this guy that she kept visiting, and the whole story in general was just very odd. Honestly didn't like it or was as intrigued by it as I thought I was going to be first going into it. It's stripped of most background noise too, which is very unsettling. It feels very indie in its production, but not in a good way. Like, it just seems void of anything. It was just very strange, and I'm very disappointed that I didn't enjoy it, because honestly I've been wanting to watch it for ages and it just fell flat for me. Didn't like it, wouldn't recommend it. And lastly, the thing I'm going to be talking about is a series I finished, and that of course is Bates Motel. I finally caught up and finished season 5, I believe, which of course I gave 5 stars. So I'm going to be kind of giving this its own brief full review. So it is about season 5 as well, but it shouldn't have any spoilers in it. I'm just going to be kind of giving you my thoughts about the whole series in general. So honestly, this was an amazing final series. I know it's strange to quickly dive into this, but I find that the colour contrast really helped to amplify the tone, particularly when we're surrounding it with Norman and his very odd characteristics, if you know what I mean. It just really amplified the unsettling aspect of certain things that involved him, and it just showed a very interesting stark contrast between things, you know. So I've jumped straight in there. I'm not going to be giving you the back track of everything. I'm sure a lot of people know what Bates Motel is, and I'll sort of dust on it gently in a little while, but I just want to get into my deep feelings about how I feel about this show. And I want to start with this. So what Norma is to Norman is something almost godly, and the show perfectly captured how besotted and like obsessively connected he was to his own mother, that he kind of in his mind put her on some hard to reach pedestal, but at the same time it could easily be taken away and he could just snap like that. It was just really interesting, their relationship and the way he felt about her, and it was really well presented, I think I'm trying to say. There's particular moments that happen in the show that I'd love to talk about in detail, but I think I'll leave it out just because I don't want this to be like really long-winded and spoilery. I just want to get to the basics of my opinion. Norman as a character was definitely a force to be reckoned with. His character complexity was acted out phenomenally well, and he made me both loathe and sympathise with him, and it was really strange going from one of those emotions to the other because they're the complete polar opposite. But there were some situations where I totally understood his desires and I felt wrong for feeling that way, but at the other times I was just full of like hate. I couldn't understand how he was doing some things, why he was doing them, and then it was just it made me feel like I was going crazy basically, but I loved it. So they've taken the classic of Psycho and they've weaved this whole backstory about the antagonist, fleshing out all the different characters that touched Norman's life and how he responded to them. The only thing I will mention that's a bit of a negative though, that I found with Bates Motel, is that for the majority of the seasons I was never clear on the setting of this, like what time period it was supposed to be set in. It was so confusing until about like halfway through, I want to say season 4, where I saw a date of something and it said like 2015, and then I thought, oh, so this is present day. It's because when you look at it, they do dress kind of old-fashioned. Even the people around the town have this very like old-fashioned, maybe 50s style to it, sort of 50s maybe, I'm not too sure, but that kind of dated look. So I don't know if they were trying to mirror something of Psycho in that field in the way they dress, but yeah, it threw me off for the longest time. So upon that realisation, it concluded in me that this was like a whole revisualisation, if that's a word, like basically a reinventation of the cult classic Psycho, because I can't see it making much else any other way. However, and now you're going to all be shocked and disgusted in me, I've never actually seen the movie Psycho, so perhaps certain things will then make sense when I finally watch that cult classic. Overall, this series and its predecessors were absolutely awesome and so atmospheric. That's definitely one of the other things I absolutely loved about this. The atmosphere in this just had you on the edge of your seat. It was amazing. Even if you haven't seen Psycho like myself, I'd tell you this series is a must-see. It is awesome. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. So we had one-star film, that I didn't like, and one 5-star TV show that I absolutely adored. So I'm glad that we ended this on a happy note. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you've watched this Sleeping Beauty film that I mentioned, or Bates Motel, and what you thought about either or if you're interested in watching them. I'd love to know. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.